Good morning, Brayment Court School. What are you going to do today? Learn, enjoy, succeed. It's Monday. Hope you're ready for another jam-packed week of lots of busy work and home learning, lots of fun activities and things coming up and going on for you. Right, let's see what today has in store for us. So, newsletter is going out for you today, so you'll receive that at some point in your inbox. I haven't received a copy of the finished one yet, so we're not going to go through it in assembly today, but I do have the house points and the housework points, and I do know who the stars of the week are, so that is really important. So, who has been really helpful around the house this week and who has got the most points? Is it going to be the butterflies? Is it going to be the chicks? Is it going to be the spiders? Let's find out. Ta-da! There we go. Look how many helpful things people have been doing at home this week. Absolutely wonderful. And do you want to know the thing on there that made me the happiest? It's the fact that this number is 222, and when you are playing bingo, we might find out about that a little bit later in the week, a 2 on its own, or 22, they say 1 little duck or 2 little ducks. Whack, whack, and look, the chicks have got 3 little ducks, 222. Well done to all of you. Let's see what that's done to the final totals and who is so far in the lead. Here we go. Do you know what? I'm really amazed and impressed by how many points you've collected, because we've been doing this for about 2 months now, and some of you are up into and or very close to the thousands. You have done so many brilliant things at home to help your families. Absolutely wonderful. Well done to all of you. So butterflies, 1,022. Chicks, 914, and spiders, 1,089. So it is very, very close. So for those of you who aren't sure, spiders are in first place, butterflies are in second place, and chicks are in third place so far. But keep going, we haven't finished yet. Right then, star of the week, star of the week, star of the week, star of the week, star of the week. Starting in Redwood class, we've got Chloe T. Well done, Chloe, for creating a beautiful Matisse-inspired piece of artwork of a snail. How wonderful, well done. And yes, I thought so. We've got 3 for Redwood class this week. This one is for Amber, for great work on using tens frames and being really involved on Zoom. Well done, Amber. And finally in Redwood class, 1 for Marcel, for working really hard on his times tables. And he's learnt some of them apparently up to 1,000, which is absolutely amazing and such a brilliant skill to have. I know some of you have, a lot of you actually I've heard about, have been working really hard on your times tables at home. Brilliant thing to learn. It will really help you with all of your maths, so well done. Let's put your names up. There we go. Right then, and now we've got Sycamore class, and we've got 1 for Hector, for great work using tens and ones in maths, and for challenging yourself to try the reflect questions too. Well done, Hector. And 1, oh, you got 3 as well, I think, have you? Yes, you have. 2 girls actually. We've had 1 boy, 2 girls now. This one is for Aggie, for trying really hard, not giving up, and making super progress in maths. Well done, Aggie. And this one is for Noya, for doing fantastic independent work in all home learning tasks. Good job, Noya, because it's particularly tricky to do it independently sometimes, isn't it? So if you've been managing that, then that's really, really good. Right then, Oak class. We've got 1 for Serena, for always editing and looking for ways to improve your work. I would say that's a really tricky skill. Even adults find that hard actually, because once you've done your work once, it's really hard to take the time to go and be thorough in checking it again. But if you can do that and make improvements on it, then that's a brilliant skill. So well done, Serena. And 1 for Cameron, for producing some fantastic research about his ancestors for VE Day, and I really enjoyed reading that. It was brilliant. He found some photographs and all kinds of information about what his different great-grandparents had been doing during the war, and they had all kinds of fascinating experiences actually, so thank you for sharing those, Cameron. I really enjoyed reading about them. Okay, Willow class, Leighton, a very well thought out timeline in literacy. Well done, Leighton. You can tell with something like that, although it doesn't involve much writing, how carefully you've planned it and thoroughly you've thought about it and researched it before you put it together. So good job. And one for Yashvir for excellent reading and becoming a bookworm. It was interesting actually looking at the survey results to hear that lots of you have been doing loads of reading at home, and I know we've got lots of people who love reading anyway, but it's great to see that you've been doing that even more. So well done to Yashvir. Moving into Birch class, am I right? Did Mr. Morris do 3 this week as well? He did indeed. So, one for Adam. Adam, this sounds great. Mr. Morris was telling me about this, for creating and delivering his own quiz on Zoom. Well done, Adam. And I've heard actually as well that Florence did that as well. I've bumped into some of the mums who've been telling me about it, so I think that was probably a social quiz. So, well done to Adam. I think some of your questions were for Mr. Morris and were quite tricky. Well done to Florence as well. Okay, and one for Kristen for excellent effort and progress. Another person who's been working really hard on their reading at home. Great thing to hear about. Good job. And Megan, I really liked this one. An excellent practical demonstration of how to find a fraction of a quantity using LOL dolls. What a good way of doing it. It's very good if you can be improvising at home with different apparatus, and I know some of you have become really inventive with that. I had to learn what LOL dolls were the other day. I had to ask Mrs. Nash about it. She gave me a lesson and some Amazon links. Okay, so we are moving into Maple class. This one is for Isa. Well done. I have seen Isa's work this week. This says putting 100% effort into home learning. I could particularly tell that from a piece of writing he did. There's a few amazing pieces of writing from Maple class this week. And Isa was definitely one of them, because we're just really impressed with everything about it, really. And I put that in your email, didn't I, Isa? Your presentation was amazing. Your handwriting was beautiful. Some really great ideas. Your spelling was accurate. Absolutely smashed it, to be honest. So well done, Isa. And then 2 more people in Maple class who have been putting 100% effort into home learning. And one of them is William. So well done, William. We're really proud of everything that you're doing at home. Great job. Keep up the good work. And last but not least is Ellen, for definitely putting in 100% effort to home learning, but also sharing your VE Day photos. And thank you for doing that. It looked from your photos as though you had an absolutely brilliant time. So well done and thank you. Right then, sports to finish off. There's some very exciting information coming out in the newsletter about sport this week that I won't give the game away on. I'll leave that one to Mr. Bavington, but make sure you read it because it's really exciting. So, Evelyn, putting 100% effort into the virtual pentathlon. Well done to all of you who took part in that. Let me tell you, we did really well. So it's worth a look in the newsletter to find out if you don't already know. And another person who was super duper in the virtual pentathlon was Alicia. So great job to you as well. There's a certificate coming your way too. Excellent. Well done to all of our stars this week. I will pass your certificates on to Mrs. Stevens, who will deliver them for you because she's amazing like that. Right then, let's find out about some house points this week. Give me a cheer if you're a butterfly. Give me a cheer if you're a chick. Give me a cheer if you're a spider. Let's find out how it's looking. It's close. Butterflies, 422. Chicks, 474 in the lead. Well done, chicks. And spiders this week, 395. Well done to all of you. Would you like to see what that's done to our accumulator totals? I am sure you would. Here we go. Whoa, up in the 4,000s now. That's a huge number. So let me have a quick look at these numbers. It's quite hard to see actually like this. That's really, really close, isn't it? So in first place so far, I'm playing for the ice cream party, is Butterflies with 4,112. In second place are Chicks with 4,105. And in third place are Spiders with 4,012. But we have got 7, maybe as much as 8 weeks actually left of school. So anything can happen in that amount of time. Well done to all of you who have represented their house by doing something amazing enough to receive a house point for it. Okay, I've got some staffing changes to tell you about. Your parents might have already told you because I sent them an email on Friday. So I typed into Google clip art goodbye aeroplane, and it gave me this picture, and I thought that's a great picture because that looks a little bit like the person who unfortunately we are saying goodbye to. So some of you might know this already. Miss McFettridge is having a massive adventure, and I think this is brilliant. It might even be almost a year and a half ago now that Miss McFettridge told me that she would really, really love to move abroad, and she went to visit a place called Hong Kong and decided that she thought it would be a fantastic place to live for a little while. She did loads of research into it, and we've known for a long time that she's going to be leaving us, but we didn't want to tell you until a little bit nearer the time. So timings have changed a little bit more than we perhaps thought they might, and although we've known for a long time that she would be going at some point, it's kind of got rushed through a little bit at the last minute. So actually this week is going to be Miss McFettridge's last week at Brawick Court School, and then she's going to be preparing to move house, pack everything up, put it all on the aeroplane and move it all to another country, and that is going to be such a brilliant thing to do. So although we are really sad that she won't be with us at Brawick, it is actually a great reason for leaving because we think she's going to have a wonderful, wonderful time. And I'm sure, because I've asked her already, we will be able to keep in touch. I would love to know what schools are like in Hong Kong and to meet some of her children, and maybe we'd be able to write to her and see some pictures of her school and things like that. So I'm hoping that we can really keep in touch with her. And I've written it in the letter, but I would just like to say a massive thank you to Miss McFettridge for everything that she's done in the time that she's been at Brawick Court. She has been an absolutely super duper teacher. She's taught loads of you. Some of you have been in her class because she will have had 3 classes with us, I think. But also she's taught Spanish to practically everybody. And did you know that Spanish isn't even the language that she's best at? She's actually best at French. But because we were teaching Spanish anyway, she just decided to get really good at Spanish and was so amazing that she taught you all beautifully, didn't she? So well done, and thank you to Miss McFettridge for everything that she's done for us. We're going to really miss her. The staff are going to miss her as well. Did you know that a lot of the staff have nicknames, and these are not for the children to use, these are just for the staff when they're talking to each other. Mrs. Nash is good at coming up with nicknames. She is responsible for probably everybody's nickname actually, and her nickname for Mrs. McFettridge was given to her when she trained her, because she did her teacher training in that year, and she calls her McGoogle because Miss McFettridge knows everything. She knows everything about most subjects, but she particularly knows everything about teaching. She reads everything that's going on. She's up to date with all of the information. She's always got fantastic things that she's sharing with us. So we are really going to miss McGoogle, or Googs for short. We wish her a wonderful, wonderful time, and we really, really hope that at some point she decides to move back to England and back to Maidenhead, and we'll try and find a little space for her back to Brawick Court School if she ever does that. Right, so what's going to happen now she's not here? So we have got 2 very exciting new people joining us, except that this person isn't that new because you know this person already. So this is Miss Cooper. She has been doing her teacher training with us this year, and she has absolutely smashed it. She is a brilliant teacher. When you watch her teach, because Miss McFettridge has trained her, it's just like watching Miss McFettridge teach, which is excellent because that means that she is totally amazing. We saw some brilliant, brilliant teachers. Loads of people wanted to come and work for us. We did 1 set of interviews when we were looking for this person's job, and we did that during lockdown, so you guys didn't see that. We did another set of interviews when we were looking for this person's job, and so a lot of you will recognise Miss Gurlis, who's joining us, because you would have seen her when she came along. She taught a lesson to Maple class, and she also met school council as well. So Miss Cooper will be taking over, staying with Oak class for the rest of this year, and Mrs. Bailey is going to help her, and obviously Miss Tor will still be there as well. So loads of great support for Oak class this year, and then Miss Cooper will have a class of her own from September. Miss Gurlis is still working in another school until September, but they have been kind enough to let us borrow her. So she will be in school working with the teachers and hopefully meeting some of the children at some point as well before the summer holidays. And if she doesn't get to meet you in person, then she'll be writing to you and meeting you and your parents and things in September. So we'll see what happens over the next few weeks about that. But two very exciting new, very, very lovely people to join our team. Competition was strong, let me tell you. So, with that in mind, I'm glad to be able to tell you about classes for next year. It's actually quite early to be able to announce this, but the teachers, everybody else has assured me that they're not going anywhere because they have until May half term actually to hand in their resignation. But who would ever want to leave Braywick? The only thing I can't compete with is Hong Kong. And so what we do know already is who's going to be teaching which class next year, and I would like to tell you. So here we are. It's a little bit small. I'll talk you through it. So Ash class are the class that will be joining us in reception. The name of the class is always given by School Council. So thank you to this year's School Council for choosing the wonderful name Ash class, another wonderful and beautiful tree that's out in our nature reserve. And so they are going to have Miss Colbeck as their class teacher and Mrs McNeely and Mrs Johnson helping in there to look after them. So the same three people who teach reception this year. In Redwood class, in year 1, they are going to have Miss Crouch and Mrs Robertson, who are staying together, just like they've taught Willow class at the moment. So some days it will be Miss Crouch and some days it will be Mrs Robertson. And Mrs Robertson knows them really well already because she teaches in there one morning a week. And Mrs Townsend is going to be in there to support them, which is brilliant news for you because Mrs Townsend is an expert at year 1 and she's lovely. So congratulations to Redwood class because you've got some awesome teachers, just like everybody else, because in Sycamore class, we've got Miss Cooper. So she's been there this year. She knows all about how to teach year 2. So she's going to do a fantastic job with these people coming up. And she will be very ably helped by Mrs Elstob, who is excellent at looking after our newly qualified teachers. We normally give them to her because she does a really good job with that. And Mrs Gallagher, who will also be helping, and she'll be in class with you in the mornings, so to help with those maths and English lessons. Okay, in Oak class, they're going to be year 3 next year, and you are lucky enough to be having Miss Tate and Mrs Jenkins. So you all know each other really well because you were together in year 1. We're going to move them up the stairs with you, and you've got a really lovely team of fantastic staff looking after you. Okay, Willow class, you will be year 4 next year, and we're keeping Mr Morris in year 4 for another year, so you will have him. He's an absolute expert at year 4, so that will be wonderful. And we are looking for a new person to join us, and that person will be working in year 4 with Mr Morris. So we'll tell you a bit more about that as soon as we know the answer. We're going to put an advert out in the next week or so for that role. We don't tend to do those adverts until a bit later down the line. Okay, so what's next? Birch class. You're going to be year 5 next year. You're going to have Mrs Nash. Always good to keep teachers in the same class for more than 1 year because it means that she's already thought about how to make year 5 amazing, and now she's going to make it even more amazing. She's going to polish it a little bit for you guys. And you are going to have Mrs Vaughan and Miss Torr with you. So Mrs Vaughan knows year 5 curriculum really well because she taught it with Mrs Nash this year, and Miss Torr knows the children really, really well and will be able to give some excellent support up there. She'll be up there in the mornings too, help with all those tricky bits for maths and English. So you've got a great team behind you. And then Maple class, our first year 6 class. I'm so excited. We've got a full school. We'll have people everywhere next year. Wonderful. So we have got Miss Gurlis, who is our new teacher who's joining us, who you've just seen the picture of. And she is going to be helped by Mrs Bailey, who's going to be with you in the mornings, helping with those maths and English lessons. So you will get loads and loads of fantastic support ready to send you off to secondary school, being fully prepared for everything that you need to know for that. And you are going to have Mrs Vaughan as well, because we're just going to chop her down the middle, and you can have the left-hand side of her, and year 5 can have the right-hand side. Or maybe you might have her a little bit more in the afternoons. We'll find out a little bit more about that nearer the time, maybe. And then PE and sport, of course, very, very important. Bottom of the list does not mean least important. So Mr. Bavington will, of course, be continuing to deliver PE, but we want him to be able to do that for everybody. So we're giving him a bit more time because we've got more classes next year and more people to teach. So from September, he will teach 2 hours of PE to every single class. And actually what we've realised is one Mr. Bavington is just never enough. We are going to look for a second person to join him. And that means that we can make full use of all these amazing facilities around us and get out and about. So if we've got 2 adults that can take you, it also means we'll be able to run a whole load of really interesting and exciting after school clubs because we'll have another sports coach who will be able to help with that. And it also means that we can get more and more and more of you out there to all of these fantastic competitions and tournaments that we're starting to do so well at. So really excited that we're able to do for that. And again, advertising for that at the moment. So really looking forward to see what the results of that are and be able to announce those to you in the next couple of weeks. That's it for today. Have an amazing day. Work hard. See you next time.